profile, does it?
No, the worry with that, if it's confirmed, is we're dealing with more than one individual and perhaps somebody with more experience, quite likely directing younger people, which is a. But the counterpart of that is that somebody who's not professional doesn't know what.
Pictures. These were taken shortly after, I think they were about 10:30 onwards. We have blurred out the faces of those hostages.
The threat profile considerably.
Would there be, obviously there is a concern of copycat attack. That's been the big concern all along, hasn't it?
It has been, and we've seen repeated calls from Islamic State to its followers to go and attack where you can, the so-called crusaders, wherever they are, uniformed or in civilian clothing, with whatever you have. You don't have a gun or a bomb, use a knife, use your car, use a rock, but don't discuss it with anyone. Don't consult, just go ahead and do it. And that seems to be intended to plant this idea in people's minds that when something starts to happen, they might just go out and do something without any further, any prior thought. And so it makes sense that authorities are guarding against that possibility.
We're getting, again, unconfirmed reports, and I want to say unconfirmed, that the gunman inside is wearing a backpack and some kind of vest.
People doing that would know to pack it with shrapnel, and therefore even a small device could be quite lethal. But it's just the suggestion that could be a bomb. The fact that he's wearing a backpack, you have to assume that they're explosives. There may not be at all, but that assumption has its own power. Similarly, the vest may mean nothing, but the police would be assuming that it's some sort of bullet-resistant vest, and that narrows their options when it comes to response if they have to move.
If those reports of a backpack and a vest are accurate, does that change the complexion of the situation for you?
It suggests a degree more preparation and a higher degree of difficulty for police. But once again, the backpack, the city centre is full of people walking around with backpacks. It doesn't mean anything in itself, but they have to assume that the worst scenario, which is that they're explosives.
I should say, if you're watching at home, this footage you're seeing now was shot a little bit earlier on. We are having difficulty getting through to any of our reporters on the ground where this siege is happening. Obviously, police can and often do jam mobile telephones in these situations. You imagine what that's what they would have done. We saw a little earlier too footage of people being evacuated from the Channel 7 building right across the road from Lent Chocolate, where this siege is taking place, and also from the West.